to you from the Radio for One studios in Franklin, Michigan. Welcome to the Detroit Cast.
Big fan. Big fan.
A show not just free of charge, but free of FCC regulations.
Thank you for your support of the Detroit Cast.
Oh, there it is.
And without further delay, it's showtime. Please welcome the Detroit Cast. Here are your hosts, Mike and Jay.
I could care less.
Not the only one saying that. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Detroit Cast, powered by DealsInTheD.com with Mike and Jay. Shalom, Big E. Hi, Jay.
Gentlemen, how are you?
Very good.
Good.
Very good.
Did you enjoy the North American International Auto Show today?
Look, it's in our backyard. I have to speak nicely about it.
Look, listen.
Listen, it's very important.
I think it needs to ask itself a simple question. What is its core competency? Is it going to display the most beautiful autos on the planet, or is it a restaurant?
I mean, I was under the impression that it was a wonderful restaurant.
I thought we were leaning toward food court restaurant.
Yep.
That's what we experienced 2 years ago.
We were just so spoiled 2 years ago.
Mazda
just came. The Mazda restaurant was to die. It was to die for. It really was. The only negative to the Mazda restaurant, if you remember,
small portions.
No, because they had unlimited. They had unlimited portions. The plates weren't huge. I agree with you there. However, if you remember, the soy sauce bowls had oversized spoons in them.
Yeah.
And so every time it got comical to us because we sat there for so long.
We saw
at the
hordes of
restaurant.
people come in and out of this thing, spilling soy sauce everywhere.
And every time someone would take a scoop of their soy sauce, they would inevitably put the spoon back in the soy sauce dish.
Bloop.
And then it would tip over and soy sauce all over the table. It never got old. And seeing the looks on their faces like, oh, no, did I do that? You know, it was great. But, yeah, we went there today. I went on a fully empty stomach because we got an early start.
I did too. I got to be honest. I was looking forward to it. There was nothing.
I walked in there, man, and within 3 minutes, I start sweating.
Nary a bagel.
I started sweating, Jay, because I'm walking around. I'm like, whoo, I don't see anyone hold the plate.
Dude, when I saw that there was no coffee at the Ford exhibit, I knew something was amiss.
Outrageous. I don't know what their goal is there. But if you expect me to judge the cars that you're bringing in there on an empty stomach, forget it.
Well,
so
you
I
could
gotta
go out in the lobby and spend $10 on a pop and a piece of pizza.
Oh, who would do that? Oh, you mean the $9.50 I spent on one slice of pizza and a Mountain Dew? Yeah. Wow, so I got to give it 2 thumbs down this year. I don't know about you guys, how you felt.
Dude, I think the Jeep Wrangler Rubicon stole the show, Mike.
I never even saw that restaurant. What was going on there? What were they serving?
Thing is beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, of course, the Bullitt Mustang is the big thing when you walk in there, and they've got the original Bullitt Mustang that was driven by Steve McQueen through the streets of San Francisco.
Yes,
in Bullitt. Mm-hmm. And now they have
That's a weird story. That family, that's like the dad bought it at an auction somewhere for $3,000 to $6,000,
and it's worth $4-point-something million, right?
Yeah, something like that. But it sat in the garage, and the family was never allowed to mention that we own this car.
What?
Yeah, and so the son owns it now. He'll never sell it no matter how much. He won't.
Sure.
I was reading an article in the paper about it, but it was for whatever, why would they Dad bought this, was
why?
No one inside the family ever speaks word one of this.
You know, it's funny, though.
The Bullitt lives in the garage, but nobody knows.
You look at it, and it's all chunked up and stuff.
Yeah.
And, cool car for sure, and classic scene, unbelievable scene. If you haven't seen it,
it's the opening scene, isn't it?
I'm not sure it's an opening scene. I remember my dad calling me down to the TV one time. They'll go, watch this. You won't believe this.
It was like a revolutionary, cinematic movie scene of the car racing through the streets, as you say, those really hilly roads and flying through the air.
Chasing hitmen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you look at this thing, it's like, all right, this thing wasn't in the movie. I mean,
yeah.
For sure, cool car, but.
Sure. Yeah.
Boy, well, people are star fuckers, aren't they?
They are, yeah. I finally figured out why Arnold was there the other day. Remember we were talking about...
Mercedes, right?
Yeah. Was it Roop that was... Raj, whatever, was blown off by Arnold. He was there for that Mercedes, what is it, the Cube 3 or something,
sure.
whatever, that really boxy, which is exactly what I think of. When I think of that car, I remember when it first came out, Arnold was in the tabloids all the time driving that thing around L.A.
Okay.
And so it was like, oh, yeah, it makes sense that he would be a spokesman for it because that's all I think of was him in that giant thing. But they have 2 of them there, and one is as clean as you can get, all washed up for $200,000 or whatever, and one of them is filthy that they took out, ragged the shit out of.
It's funny. That's one thing that E and I stopped on and commented upon. this thing will never be driven through mud like that, like is on display at the auto
Oh
show.
no! It's for wives.
Ever.
It's for
it's absolutely for wives to pull their kids up in front of Country Day and drop their kids off.
exactly.
Absurd.
It's so ridiculous.
It might have snow patterns or salt patterns like that if it's in Michigan, but that's about it.
Some
Yeah.
cool stuff,
Yeah.
despite the lack of food.
Yes, despite the lack of food, and I'm trying my best to be nice and fair. It's very, very hard, I gotta be honest, but it is in our backyard, so I'll be nice. One of the things I was talking to a buddy of mine, I was talking to Tooch actually yesterday. He was telling me some of the things. He was there yesterday, and he was saying one of the things they did this year was took away a lot of the, you know the like cars of the future. And they've got some BMW that looks like a half a car, half a spaceship.
Yeah.
And it's just some concept that it's like, yeah, that'll never be made. Never be made. And they kind of took away a lot of that aspect of it. And so there's more just like real.
Yeah,
cars
my
there, if
takeaway
you
is
noticed
it,
that,
it
but-
did look sleeker this year. I don't know, like less
Yeah.
hoopla stuff going on.
Yeah.
E was aptly pointed out the use of the video screen is, obviously taken over and
Oh, yeah.
sets the mood to the whole place. But yeah, I guess now that you say that, with Tooch
Yeah.
saying there's no concept cars there, that's
or
the
not
thing,
a lot
man.
of them or something. I don't know if there's zero of them, but it was
think
kind of
you're
one
right.
of those things. Yeah. I did notice, which I thought was weird. I saw lots of skimpily dressed women.
No.
Young.
Looking for cars or?
Young. No, I don't think they were looking to buy.
They were industry experts.
Is that what they were?
Yeah. If
'Cause
you
they would-
if you had a question about any one of those cars on display, they knew it all.
Well, I saw a lot of them in high heels, some of them together, just kind of talking together. But then I noticed a lot of them would stand next to a car and just kind of like, here it is, like
Yeah.
point or
Right.
gesture. I didn't see the hot male models. I don't know if they were like the second team that
I
comes
saw a
out
couple
later.
pairings.
I
like
saw-
the young hip guy with the hot chick.
Not like I didn't see him
Scarf
as much
guy.
at the car, but I saw him like at the little booth inside of the display. There'd be the hot girl, hot guy sitting there, hipster dude.
Yeah, I noticed mostly
but-
hot girl, which seems weird.
Well,
I think we're
especially when
still
they
doing
do
that.
anything that's interactive, anything that's like, oh, you can get on this, sit in this car and race around like a
Yeah, lots of
video
VR
game.
porn there. Lots of VR porn.
Dude.
That was a big takeaway for me.
Do they need to like box those people in because they all look so dumb? Like you and I started laughing. There's some guy, and he's a dad. He's overweight. He's got his shirt tucked in.
Virtual reality goggles on.
He's got the goggles on.
And he's
just,
reaching. He's reaching for a non-existent steering wheel. It's like an Orrin Hatch move, reaching for the glasses.
Yeah.
He's just like, whoa, ooh, I see it. It's right here. It's
I'm just
amazing.
driving. And it's like I just picture that guy flipping to another channel and hitting the VR porn thing and just getting blown in the car. but yeah, I noticed that they were doing that. It's like some of them upstairs. You could drive the new, I think it's the new Ranger. You could drive. I don't know if that was VR, but there were a few different spots for VR, and I'm sure it's badass. I've never worn the things. I've
Lots
never
of VR
tried
this
them.
year for sure.
Yeah, but
that's
boy,
what-
people look silly in that thing. They just do.
You are
Let me
right
see
though.
any-
You are right though. There's no of the hot guys at any of those displays.
I saw
like,
a few of them. Come on.
walking you into the chair.
Yeah. Well, thank God we rode down together, and there was some debate about what to put on the radio, and finally we decided to settle on Dave and Chuck the Freak. And I got to tell you, it really
Hilarity ensued, didn't it, Mike?
Detroit. You should be so thankful for the treat that is the Dave and Chuck show. I mean, that is just
Well, now Boston gets them too, right?
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
syndicated
Boston
over
too.
there.
If anyone's
Boston.
listening in Boston, shut us off and kick that. It's just so strong. Ugh. It's, dude. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be a dick. I don't mean to pull people down and shit on people. It might be the worst show I've ever listened to. I'm not, and that's a bold statement. It might actually be the worst show I've ever listened
It's
to.
tough. It's tough to get through.
Did you guys find it enjoyable? You were in the car as well. I heard E cackling in the back a little bit, but
Well, yeah, not really cackling at the show for intended purpose. Not cackling for why they would want me to be cackling, but
It's the age-old criticism of the show where that dude, the one guy says something, the other guy just dies laughing
Right.
at anything, and it's it's not even a joke. It is so seriously. That's what happens on that
yeah,
show.
it's that can't be real though, right? Every time I hear it, I'm like,
He seems
I've never
genuine.
cracked.
That's the
I
thing.
get more and more mad when I listen to it. I just get mad. I find myself going, "That's not funny. Why are you laughing at that? That's not funny."
The guy seems to do it so genuinely, though. You'd think after all these years, he'd peter out. Like,
Unless
all right,
maybe
I
there
can't.
is a laugh track. No.
I mean, it could just be like, well, yeah, that's donuts for breakfast. That's smart.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, you probably put on some weight if you keep eating donuts for breakfast.
Donuts for breakfast. Yeah, donuts have holes in them.
At our age.
Holes.
Hole? Did you say hole?
Holes. I said hole.
It's like a vagina. Penis.
Mike, here's the thing. Mike, like I kind of made my little. I think it was yesterday. I made my little remark about some other radio show, and when Mike says he thinks it's the worst show he's ever heard, I haven't listened to every show out there, but even some of the other morning shows in this area.
Putty.
No, but there are other morning shows in this area where the hosts still talk though. I mean, it's corny. It's not edgy, but they do discuss politics of and news items of the day. They don't do anything.
Yeah, format's something, man.
It is flat out just, here's a funny story, now here's a half an hour of people calling. Like, they don't discuss anything that's going on.
I know people that work over there, obviously. And I've talked to and they will say, like, oh man, it's just they're just killing it. They're great. They're great. And I'm thinking to myself, like, dude, you've been around good radio. You know what good radio is. You can't really believe that. You can't honestly believe that that's like you're hearing talented people that are in a prime slot that I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just an asshole and I don't get it, but I like to think that I'm a decent judge of something like that. Like I don't give a shit that they're there. I'm glad we're not there, to be honest with you.
Doing well, apparently.
Yeah, of course, good for them. But I listen and it's like, we're going to do 30 minutes of caller-driven horse shit. Like,
and the
yeah,
callers
let's get Pete from Warren to tell us about his near-death experience, or the time you thought you almost killed someone. And it's like 30 minutes of this, and then we'll take a break and come back and do more? What?
Well, I thought the funny thing...
What?
The thing I pointed out to you guys that I thought was the most funny to me was then whenever they end a segment and go to commercials, they always have to have, if you missed it, this was, what was previously on David Chuck. They're like
little best of.
Yeah, they're little like kind of 45-second promo to sell the show to somebody that maybe if you didn't even hear it is like it's not them talking. It's a weird
driven by a caller,
redneck caller.
Whole thing's driven by calls.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It is what it is. I'm glad they're making the money. Good for them.
Hey, it's time to celebrate huge savings during the Auto Show sales event at Zott M59 Chrysler Jeep. With payments this low and Etard's big raise, even he can afford a sweet Jeep. Lease a new loaded 18 Jeep Compass as low as $222 a month. This Compass has it all, including Apple CarPlay, heated leather seats, and heated steering wheel. See details and their massive inventory at dealsinthed.com.
Oh man, we're not getting to Amazon headquarters here.
Yeah, I know.
I don't even have a story. I just like perused it on Twitter. But I gotta say, man, I was kind of surprised that we didn't even make the top 20.
Yeah, I know. They
thought we had
whittled it down to 20 from like 238 submissions.
Yeah,
and there's some places on here that you go, really? I mean,
I know someone.
Newark, New Jersey.
Yeah, somewhere in Ohio.
Montgomery County, Maryland. Columbus, Ohio.
I know someone that was working on the pitch for that. That was part of the team that was doing that. And so I was talking to him at length a few times about this, and he was like, "No, Detroit's got a better chance than you think. Here's why." And he was talking about how Gilbert had said to them, look, you bring the headquarters here, and I will take my prime location downtown, and I will move my shit out of here, and I will let you take that whole thing. The campus, the Marsh.
The whole Hudson's building area. Yeah.
That whole area is yours. What other major city is going to do that? Nobody. And then the other thing that made Detroit so appealing was, A, how much land you had. So there's opportunity to build and expand and all that kind of stuff. And the other one that was hugely important, international border. You've got Windsor, you got Canada right there. You've got this, there's very few spots in the country where you've got an international border. So it was like, based on those factors, it seemed like, of course we'll crack the top 20. Can we make the top 5? Yeah, there's a shot, but whether we get the
I know
bid
it's
or
a
not.
bummer, man. I kind of thought top 10 too,
Yeah,
right?
fuck Bezos, anyways. But
screw those guys. We don't need them.
I don't need you,
dude. It would have been a $5 billion investment, 500,000 jobs. 500,000 jobs.
That's more than there are people in Detroit. There's not even 500,000 people in Detroit anymore.
That was a big black mark on the whole process. This is according to John Gallagher of Free. He thought that the lack of mass transit transit was a huge deal.
Yeah,
And
but
of
it's
course,
coming. I mean,
the promise to do that, sure, but it's
Yeah.
not established. Also, the
Yeah.
lack of a real technical workforce here. They would have had to bring people in from Ohio as well as Canada.
calling us dumb. They're saying we're dumb. We got K-Dog here, man.
And then just the general urban distress he focuses on is probably like, you know what? It's just, they're not ready to bet on it, right? It's coming back. It's
Yeah.
in a big way. It's doing good things, but
I would think that would almost be appealing, though, to be able to, be the guy that comes in and is like, yeah, this used to be, I don't mean to offend people, a shithole.
whoa!
Oh, wow.
I know, racist. It used to be a shithole, and it's not now because I came here and took the ball that was already in play with, the Illiches, the Mr. Eyes of the world.
Let's be honest, Gilbert has rebuilt that city.
I know, and Gilbert and a few others, but it's not the government that's going to do it. It takes some guy going, fuck it, I'll take all these buildings and I'm going to turn it into this, and boom, and just going to work on it.
Yeah.
And to be able to take the ball and run with it and reestablish what was once the greatest city in America. Detroit back in the heyday when the car company stuff was one of the greatest industrial cities in America. And to be able to put that back on the map officially, I think that'd be really kick-ass.
That would be a neat thing, but I think they're motivated by things other than just
Money.
being able to look back and go, that's neat.
Well, they're wrong.
Who knows?
They made a
what-
bad decision.
Tax incentives are obviously huge, and I know Michigan threw a bunch at them, but
Yeah.
who knows what Philly did? Who knows what Pittsburgh? There's some fine cities on here:
Yeah.
Denver, Dallas, Chicago, Boston.
Yeah,
Austin.
Denver, I hear, is the one.
Yeah, when this first
Really?
got announced, I think a lot of people put Denver as
Yeah.
the favorite.
Oh, there's not a lot of property left in Denver proper, so we'll see how that goes. But
Good luck.
good luck with that, Denver. Yeah, no, it just sucks. It seemed like it would have been a nice fit with everything that else that's going on here. So
Amazon.
yeah, too bad to wake up and kind of read that news. Not even in the top 20.
Speaking of Amazon, hey everybody, please
Amazon.
use our affiliate links. You'll see our Amazon and Groupon links above the fold at DetroitCast.com. Go ahead and click on them. Shop away. Doesn't cost any more. The key is, however, that you click to those sites through our links. Also, make sure you're shopping MyPillow.com for all your
Yes.
betting-related needs. Use TDC
My bad,
code.
Nick Field.
You'll get the very best discount with TDC code.
People that don't use that TDC code,
Tell you
so
what.
help me.
Yeah. We
So
met, we
help
met
me.
somebody yesterday that ordered 6 pillows.
I listened to you guys. I finally ordered 4 pillows. Great. Did you use
Sweet.
the TDC code? What's that?
What?
Huh. Okay. Never mind. Hope you love the pillows. They are great. More news coming out. Remember that hooer that Trump apparently banged?
Which one? Stormy?
Great question. That's a great question. Yeah, Stormy.
porn
Was it
star.
Stormy Daniels?
Something like that.
Apparently met her at a golf course, and word was she's been saying and he's been saying, never happened, never happened. And
It was
word
a
was,
non-disclosure agreement.
yeah, there was an NDA NDA, and she was paid like $130,000. And what? What are you laughing at?
Just there's a non-disclosure agreement. Yeah, an NDA.
an NDA.
That's
Isn't
right.
that what they usually call
Let's
them,
get to
an
that
NDA?
ASAP.
I've never heard of
Yes,
that.
I've heard an NDA, but
Yes, he hasn't.
but to say it right after non-disclosure agreement, I don't know. It seemed a little douchey.
really, that's what you're
It
gonna.
just
that's the scab you're gonna pick
it
today.
It warranted a smirk, and then
It
you
got
said,
a smirk, and the smirk didn't go away. I was gonna let it go if you just went, huh, and then left, but you didn't. You stayed on the smirk like fucking asshole, fucking asshole. NDA. Really, he had his. I could read it in your mind. I knew what it was before I went. What? I knew it was the NDA. And I don't need. I
Why'd
don't
you
need
say
you
it?
piping it. I don't know.
Was
I
it a
don't-
little bit of this, like, oh, look at me,
Look,
little
I-
pinky in the air?
Oh,
I know, yeah,
non-disclosure
NDA,
agreement.
We're just dealing with NDAs.
I say non-disclosure agreements so often that I've just cut it
Yeah,
down to
it's
NDAs.
NDA.
It's just an NDA, standard issue NDA. Remember what story we're talking about? Oh, so anyway, Trump apparently had this NDA, paid this bitch $130,000 to shut up. Well, apparently she had talked to like In Touch Weekly
Before.
like in 2011,
Yeah.
and so when it came down to, oh my God, he's actually running for president in 2016, like his lawyers went out and were like, okay, who do we have to pay off to shut up? And that's not to say he raped anyone or assaulted anyone. It was just like, yeah, we
Didn't
don't.
want the political problem.
Yeah, we don't need a massive onslaught of 100.
He's having extramarital sex.
Right.
Imagine that, billionaire Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Who would have guessed it?
And no president's ever done that before either.
Yeah,
so
that he's
that's not-
banging strippers and whores.
But with him especially, like you imagine he's been banging porn stars and just like those types of girls by the hundreds. I mean, it would shock me if it wasn't by the hundreds, and so it was like yeah, we don't need 100 Stormy Daniels coming out and all talking. So if we can pay them all off, let's do it.
It's a bad look.
Yeah, and so she apparently, and I guess it's not out yet, but In Touch is going to issue this whole 5,500 word essay or whatever that she had talked to them about, or what she
Interview.
had said. Yeah, I don't know if it's an interview. Well, I guess it's sort of an
I
interview.
wouldn't say it's an essay, but
Yeah. Well,
trying to find a different word other than essay.
I thought it's not an essay. She
It's an
didn't just-
essay concerning Miss Daniels' relationship with now President Trump.
Wouldn't you think when the NDA talk started, right? It's non-disclosure agreement for the lay. When they started discussing that, it was like, okay, we're going to cut you a check for 130 grand, but this never happened. Okay, wouldn't you think at some point someone will go, by the way, have you talked to any media outlets about this before? I mean, like, is
Yeah,
there
that'd be a
any-
good follow-up question.
Wouldn't
I
it
agree with you.
just be like, oh well, yeah, I did like In Touch. You ever heard of them? Yeah, they're a major magazine. You did? What did you do? I gave like 5,500 word like interview.
And who do
It
I
said
contact
everything.
there? Who do I pay off over there?
I didn't know, but I
Some
told
woman
them,
or man? I don't remember.
I said like a lot of stuff to them, like everything. I talked about his whitey tighties and how it was really generic.
Did
sex
she?
with him. Yeah.
Whitey tighties?
Yeah.
It's what we see through his tennis shorts.
Yeah.
I thought those were just his tennis panties.
She said it was nothing crazy. We didn't like use protection, which is rare for her. Stormy usually does, but with
Oh,
Trump,
does
why would
she?
you? It was
When she's not on camera.
yeah, when she's not on camera, of course. It was one position, what you would expect from a guy his age.
Wow.
Oof, that's a shot. What do you think his one position was?
Her on top.
Cowgirl.
Yeah, her on top. It's not a bad call. I actually don't even know why I did it, but I do remember while
can
we were
think of
having
why.
sex, I was like, please don't try to pay me. Like, she was like, does he think I'm a hooker? Or what? She didn't
She's above
know.
that, right?
Yes.
She's not a hooker.
But then
Why
she was
is
like,
she having
but
sex?
wait a minute. If he did, I bet it'd be a lot because he's like rich. That was her next thought. She worried
good logic.
Trump had confused her for a hooker. Instead, he seemed smitten, and then he would call her like every 10 days. Hello, how are you?
Is this Stormy?
We need Stormy. It's me, the D. We need to do it again. It was amazing. So the billionaire, I guess he came to her booth. There was a booth at this wherever they were in Nevada at this golf outing, and it was sponsored by some adult film company. And she's sitting there, and he just like strolled up, and he was like,
I'll take that one.
Yes, I'll take you. How about we go to dinner tonight? And she's like, okay. Who would pass up an opportunity to talk to someone so interesting? So she goes to his hotel room. She's greeted by his bodyguard, Keith.
God, you talk about a sure thing, right? You
Oh,
walk
I
up to an
know.
adult video booth.
This one,
You're
well,
Donald Trump.
I'm leaning between this one and that one. I think I'm going to go with that one tonight.
It'd be awesome if he said that out loud. He was just having that discussion at the booth with himself.
So she's meted by his longtime personal security guy, Keith Schiller.
Meted?
Huh?
Meted by?
Is that what I said? She's
I
greeted.
just-
She was met?
I'm being too hard on you, Mike.
Yeah. wish
I
it
know
wouldn't
what you
be.
meant.
Is that what I said? If I said meted, that's worth
See, the problem is when I don't correct you, people email and I can't believe Walter said meted and you just let
how
it go.
often
What
am
do
I
you want from
fucking
me, man?
around, dude? How often do I fuck up that bad that I would say meted?
I don't
That's
know, I had some
retarded.
dude, I had some
That's
guy-
retard level.
I had some guy write in yesterday about how do you let Walter say muscle weighs more than fat? A pound is a pound is a pound. You know that. This is killing me. It's like, yeah, dude, it's about volume. We get it. That's why we're looking at Kaepernick versus Trump going, see how muscle fits in a tighter segment, a tighter package than the fat
And
Trump.
that's
I
the saying.
didn't
By the way, that's the
explain that
saying.
wrong.
I mean, that's the saying. I mean,
No,
people.
everybody says that.
I know,
Of
but-
course he's right. A pound is a pound is a pound.
Right.
A pound
Right.
doesn't weigh more than a pound.
Which falls
Muscle's
harder,
denser.
1,000-pound bag of feathers or 1,000-pound bag
It's
of
all
bricks?
about drag, Mike. You do it in a vacuum, they hit the ground at the same time.
Exactly.
I want to follow that guy around and ask him how many. Hear
too
him talk.
nitpicky. Too nitpicky. But meted?
So tell me about
Meted.
how he was meted.
So she met him at the door, Keith Schiller, and my thought is, oh, the stories Mr. Schiller could tell. Could you imagine?
Yeah, get Schiller on the phone.
Reading Schiller's memoirs as longtime personal security guy for Donald Trump. He's the guy that checks in the hooers when they
Yeah.
show up.
How much did he
Oh.
get for his NDA?
Well, he left the White House in September, so whatever happened there, but he was with Trump forever, for years. So anyway, Keith opens the door and lets her in, and there's the Donald wearing pajama pants, sprawled out on the couch watching TV. And
Just pajama pants?
Yeah. She pokes fun at him, suggesting he was trying to dress like Hugh Hefner. Ooh, it's kind of a shot. That's his boy. He got all huffy and tried to play it off. Was like, I just thought like we would relax here. And then we ended up having dinner in the room. And so she excused herself to go to the bathroom. When I came out, he was sitting on the bed. He was like, come here. And I was like, ugh, here we go.
This is the life of a whore.
You can turn around and leave.
Yeah, you
don't have to be there. You just meted the guy 10 minutes ago, for Christ's sake.
Great point.
So we hung up for a little while. He kept saying, I'm going to call you. I'm going to call you. I have to see you again. You're amazing. I could totally see him saying this
And yet
stuff.
all they did was like vanilla sex, like one position.
And then he throws out, we have to get you on The Apprentice.
Oh, my God.
As if some double F-titted bitch showing up on The Apprentice wouldn't seem out of place at all. Although I suppose if you could have Dennis Rodman on there,
Yeah.
why not have Stormy
Yeah,
Daniels?
but that was Celebrity Apprentice. She would just be. Oh, I guess she would be a celebrity, right? She's a porno star.
I guess.
She says, look, there was no abuse. He didn't do anything inappropriate. The only thing he did that was a dickhead move was he broke all his promises. Like, you're going to be on The Apprentice. I'm
What
going
a
to call
shock.
you. Like, all that stuff was bullshit. I'm going to buy you a condo in Tampa, Florida.
She's got to hear that shit all the time from guys, though, right?
Yeah.
He's telling her to get. He's gonna get her on The Apprentice and buy her a condo in Florida.
Very specific. Tampa, Florida, too.
No.
Not Mar-a-Lago. You're going to Tampa, Florida.
I want
like-
you Gulf side. Gulf side.
But it's
it's
like-
the best.
But it's like all just to get her to get on top of him for probably 8 minutes or so.
Yeah.
And then a minute.
And then he
it's done,
comes
it's
out of
just
that
like,
haze.
Yeah.
Like,
As soon as he
okay,
busts his
see you
nut.
next time.
well, whatever.
Boy. Ooh.
Oh, I'm married. That's right. See you next time, Stormy.
I've got a 3-month-old at home. I got to go. Keith, Keith,
The minute.
it's time for Stormy to leave, Keith.
How fast after that ejaculation is he just
Dude, he's probably got a cum button on his hip that he just starts depressing. As soon as Keith's like, oh shit, he's come. The boss has come already. Time for Stormy to go. Keith, where are you? Stormy needs to leave now.
can't believe we didn't see her on The Apprentice. That's
Yeah,
shocking.
that's weird.
Shocking.
Hey, Hamlin Pubs, they're inviting you to their 5 Metro Detroit locations. Come enjoy Hamlin Pubs, great food, drinks, and atmosphere. Whether you're watching the game with your buddies, out for a meal with the family, or out for an evening with your girl, it's always a great time at their Rochester, Clarkston, Chesterfield, and 2 Shelby Township locations.
Did you see we had our fake news awards last night?
Dude, you know, I saw that coming down the pike this week. I'm like, what is this going to be? I mean,
I was praying it was going to be a joke. And like,
Yeah.
it was fake news that there was going to be fake news awards. Like
that's
that.
irony. Hashtag.
Hashtag irony. I wish I knew what that meant. But no, I guess they did kind of act like they weren't going to do it, and then someone, I'm guessing the boss, I'm guessing Donald himself went,
Just give them all to CNN.
fuck it, let's do it, we're going to do it, let's do it tomorrow. It crashed the GOP website last night. People were making fun of him for that a little bit. Like, so many people went to look at who the winners were for the fake, and I'm just like, he is the president, and like, that's not a joke. He's actually the president of the United States, and he's focused. I don't care if it's 1 minute or an hour. It's unacceptable to be worried about the fake news awards. It's just so trivial and dumb. But his base is going to eat it up. His base will eat it up, and he came out with.
Are you going to tell us the winners? I mean, come on.
I know.
I'm waiting
You
with
wanna-
bated breath.
I know you are. I know you are. Look, listen. It would be very hard to not do this if you were him. Like, there are more and more of these media watchdog groups that kind of watch all the media channels, and then they go, okay, here's how the coverage was for Obama. Here's how it was for Bush, blah, blah, blah. And they can really break down. They dedicated 3 minutes and 27 seconds total to this story. Whether it's the economy breaking 26,000, dude, that's unbelievable.
The Dow, yeah.
The Dow is breaking records on a daily basis that has never been seen in this country. There's not a whisper of it in the press. It's hilarious.
Amazing.
It broke 20. Look at your 401ks. You said it the other day. What's it up, 40%?
It makes you wonder why the dude doesn't just tweet exclusively about the economy.
Yeah. No one wants to hear it, and it's like, this is crazy to me that CNN won't even mention, or it's just a blip. It's 15 seconds on coming out of a break or something.
And if
It's
it
just
is mentioned,
dumb.
it's like, well, this is going to burst, so
Yeah.
enjoy it now.
It's like,
I know, you're right.
but to me, you lose all credibility when you can't go, wow, who would have saw this coming? But hey, shit, I got to give it to him, man. My 401k is up 35% right now because
Apple's bringing back a bunch of money from overseas.
Billions.
They're they're going to employ how many 100,000 more people? You know,
over 5. There's like a 5-year plan to reinvest.
yeah, the shit. I mean, it really is coming to fruition. A lot of the economic promises.
And I don't care if you like him or not. I mean, if you're someone who's worked a long time and goes and looks at your 401k, you're going to be impressed. You're going to be impressed with some of the things that's happening right now. And it's just funny that it's not mentioned. And to me, that's more fake news than like, you know, there's a pizzeria and Hillary's raping kids in the base. Like, that's fake news on a retarded level.
Yeah.
But this is like, by not acknowledging that is almost criminal. So anyway, he's got his list of fake news awards. And number
New
11.
York Times. Washington Post.
Number 11. Okay, so we've got a list of 11. Russia collusion.
Okay,
Bullshit.
these are all the issues that are fake. Okay.
Perhaps the greatest hoax perpetrated on the American people. There is no collusion. I do agree with that. If there's evidence, I'd love to see it. I'll be the first one to go, holy shit, he was colluding with Russia. That's great. Until I see some of that, I'm not just going to follow along with that. The New York Times falsely claimed on the front page that we had hidden a climate report. Some sort of climate report. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
Big piece of fake news, I guess. I don't know. CNN falsely reported that James Comey would dispute Trump's claim that he was told he was not under investigation. I remember that one. That was a big deal, and they had to come back because they actually went like
So who's
breaking
picking
news.
up these awards? These are just stories.
I don't know.
Is someone like
Sort of like the Razzies. Nobody goes and gets them.
Yeah.
Okay,
They're just
Yeah.
announced.
I gotcha.
Newsweek falsely reported that Polish First Lady Agata Kornhauser-Duda did not shake President Trump's hand.
Yep. Remember
And-
that?
Remember that? And then
It's on video, shaking hands.
She did. CNN falsely edited a video, number 6, to make it appear that Trump defiantly overfed fish during a visit to the Japanese Prime
I don't
Minister.
remember that.
I saw a picture of this yesterday. He was like,
No
you know, when you
shit.
go to like Cedar Point and they have those things for a
course.
quarter, you can get a cup full of fish, food, and throw them in there and they go nuts.
I just spit in there. They do the same thing.
Cigarette butt will do it too.
Is that right?
It's a kind of a dick move, but it will work. Yeah, they don't have time to figure out what's real, what's not. They're going for it. And he did that, and so there's him and like Shinzo Abe standing there like overlooking this water, and Trump's got a little cup and he's got this huge spoon, and he's just like whoosh, and chucks a huge spoon of food pellets in there.
I love those moments, man. That's what I was so looking forward to at the election.
Yeah.
There he goes. Yeah. Wow. Yeah,
And Abe's like, dude, it's way too much.
we put a
Shrimp,
pinch.
Pinch, break suit. What are you, retard? And Trump's like, whatever.
We
dump
do
it all
everything
in.
big. It's bigly.
It's bigly. I'm gonna feed all the fish because I care about all the fish. And make sure they all get
It's
pellets.
fucking Trump voice, man.
And so so CNN or who was it? No, which one was it? It wasn't CNN. One of them reported that he had
Washington Post, ABC News,
No,
New
CNN
York Times.
edited a video to make it look like Trump defiantly overfed fish during his visit to Japan. Prime Minister actually led the way with the feeding in the actual video. Washington Post reported that President's massive sold-out rally in Pensacola, Florida, was empty. The reporter, remember that?
Yeah,
tweeted
we
the
remember
picture
that.
out, and it was total bullshit. It took a picture of the arena 3 hours,
Pre-rally, yeah.
before the event. CNN falsely reported that Trump and his son Donald Jr. had access to hacked documents from WikiLeaks. That was bullshit, fake news. ABC News' Brian Ross, remember what got him suspended, all that stuff, said that, whatever. New York Times, Paul Krugman, this is number 1, claimed on the day of the President Trump's historic landslide victory that the economy would, quote, never recover. Here we are with a Dow that's at 26,000.
Mark Cuban went out prior to and spouted off about that too.
Yeah,
I
seriously.
am an expert. Believe me, this
Yeah.
thing's gonna tank, and it's just gone
Yeah.
exact opposite.
So funny, man. So funny. Wrapping up, did you see Jeff Flake? What's the deal with Jeff Flake? He's retiring, so he doesn't care. He's just another senator, Republican senator. He's been blasting the president for months now because I think he's retiring, and so he can.
Mm-hmm.
But he held a special speech yesterday. Did you see any of that?
Where he likened Trump's stance on the media to Stalin.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's he says it's a testament to the condition of our democracy that our own president uses words infamously spoken by Joseph Stalin to describe his enemies. And then he's branded these 5 news outlets enemies of the state and of the American people. And blah, blah, blah. Oh, my God, this is criminal, da-da-da. And it's like, dude, first off, 2 people showed up in the chambers to hear his speech. He gave this speech. It was covered on TV, of course, because he's going to bash Trump. 2 people
Really?
were there.
In the whole Senate chamber?
Yeah.
That chamber you see during the State of the Union.
Dick Durbin and Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota attended the 15-minute speech.
Oh, man.
Highly anticipated by reporters, and both of them showed up for him to rant and rave. And it's like, it's just, I don't know, man. It's just dangerous to me, like, to compare him to Stalin killed what, 20 million people?
Yeah, I think
You know what I mean?
thereabouts.
Like what is the thing? Like, fake news is a real problem. Like, that's a real problem. Stop. The difference between a Stalin and a Trump, besides the 20 million deaths, is that you couldn't speak out against Stalin, right?
Yeah,
Like, the
there's not
fact
an
that
attempt
you-
to just shut down the whole media, you know, the whole operation. It's rather criticism of the fake stuff, and it's being, by the other side, taken to the extreme. Oh, my God.
The fact that you can go on TV, radio, podcast, and go, fat fuck idiot, piece of shit, I think he's retarded. I think he's dementia bound.
Dude,
You know?
Dr. Sanjay Gupta, TV doctor, CNN, claiming he's read the reports of the White House staff
Sure,
doctor.
of course he has.
And he's concluded that Trump has heart disease. Despite the guy who examined Trump saying, no, he doesn't have heart disease.
Very well-respected doctor, by the way. I know his name's Ronnie,
Ronnie.
but still.
Get past it.
Yeah. Very well-respected. And in an overnight amount of time, it's like, the guy's full of shit. Nah, full of shit. He's another one that's fallen into whatever this thing is Trump's got
The
going on. He's
spell.
full of shit. And so now his whole career is in question.
So you got Gupta sitting there as a talking head.
Gupta's
at
a
desk.
head guy. Isn't Gupta a cranium guy?
Gupta's the guy who drilled the hole in the dude's head on the way back from Bosnia or something, right?
Yeah, you don't like giving Gupta credit, do you?
Gupta sucks.
Well, it's like, you won't believe what our very own Dr. Sanjay Gupta did today in some shithole country or somewhere on the other side of the planet. And it's like,
He found a dehydrated boy and gave him water.
but then it's like, this girl was her cranium was gonna explode, the swelling on the brain. It's like, what did Gupta do? And as soon as you saw Hacksaw, you were like, dude, I could have done that surgery.
I know.
I could have done that surgery. So, I don't
Fucking
know.
Gupta.
There's no one shutting the press down. Donald Trump is not shutting the press down. That's why the comparison to Stalin is so absurd, by the way. That's,
Nor is he killing 20 million people.
and
Yet.
that, too.
Yet.
Yet.
We'll see what the future holds.
Hopefully one day soon.
Hey, the auto show's here, as you know, and that can only mean one thing: insane deals from your friends at Zott Ford and Holly. SUVs are the flavor of the month. Lease a new 18 Ford Escape as low as $144 a month, or lease a new 18 Ford Edge as low as $188 a month. We'd say it again, but I'd get pissed, so hit rewind or go to dealsinthed.com to see these deals, plus many more.
You guys want to open up the phone lines and take some calls? See if
Yeah,
anyone's
just
had
sit back and
near-death
let-
experiences.
Perfect, dude.
I'm getting burnt. I got to be honest with you. I got a little bit of a headache. I wouldn't mind kicking back and just having people blow the phone lines up. Actually, it is Easis's day in history today.
Hell yeah. This day in history with Big E. You ready, Easis?
I was gonna do it after the break.
No,
I
let's
thought.
do it now, man.
It's up to E. E gets to make the
Oh,
call. Unless you
why?
force it. Unless you force
Why does he
it.
get any say in this?
Because I'm doing it. Because I didn't. I haven't pulled up some of the stuff I would have pulled up.
Well putty. Do you have visual aids?
I have a
Because
few.
I am a visual learner.
I have a few.
All right, E. We'll say it this way: is there anything between now and the break that will improve the thing? Do you just
Be
not want
honest.
to do it? You just don't want to do it
I
right
want to
now,
look through the notes one more time, and I want to pull up my images.
Fine.
Jay.
Fine. That's fine.
All right.
If he
Good
thinks
man.
it'll be a better presentation after the break, then so be it.
You want to say thank you, E?
Thank you.
You're welcome, Isis.
Ashley Banfield, would you?
She's the chick who criticized the Aziz Ansari accuser.
Yes. She's the one on was on CNN is when we used to see her, and she's
CNN, but then they rolled over a bunch of their staff to HLN, right?
yes, and I don't know why they did that. If it
Yeah, I
was
didn't
like
even know HLN existed.
but then I looked and I noticed like I didn't watch any of those CNN or MS any of those things for years and years and years and years. Never watched them until fairly recently, and it was like
Then the glow of CNN became prominent in the kitchen.
as you've known me during this show, it's like that's all you've seen is Fox News or CNN or one of those on. But before that, I never watched those shows. And so
Where did you get your news, Mike?
I got it from lots of places, but I didn't have to be that in tune to it. I just didn't. It was a different job, so I didn't care about a lot of that stuff. But anyway, I had no idea that the Ashley Banfelds and Brooke Baldwins had been there for 20 years.
Wow.
And it's like, oh, you were the smoking hot chick at 30 on there. And now you're 50. Is that why we're going to Headline News now? Is that why we're moving all these chicks over to Headline News?
Oh, that's what HLN stands for. Headline News. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Would HN work, though? Is headline one word or is
I
it
thought
two?
it was. Yeah, I thought it was.
I
It
mean,
probably just needed 3 letters.
HLN sounds better, but I don't know that it's necessary. It's an added L we don't need. So anyway, I'm not saying that about her, but I've always found Ashley cute. I think she's a lawyer. Brooke Baldwin is another one. I can't stand them, but there's something about them that's like, my God, I'd like to see her tits.
I can't picture
know?
either one immediately. E, if you could bing one, please. That's Ashley Banfield. All right.
Yeah, see, now, the only view I get is like half titties up. So ignore all this.
She's
Like,
a
I've never
good-looking
seen that.
older woman.
She's
How-
50. I think
Okay.
she's 50.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nothing
there
wrong
she
with her.
is. And Brooke Baldwin, you would know Brooke Baldwin, too.
Was she the one who did the Don Lemon New Year's Eve? Is that Brooke Baldwin?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Totally know her.
See if there's a nice titty shot of her, sorry.
But we have some pushback from the Aziz
Yeah.
accuser side.
So, Ashley, we played a snippet of it the other day. She was the one that came on as a woman, really the first one. And there were a few others that wrote articles and stuff being like,
Yeah, you're seeing the bad date characterization much more
Yeah.
in headlines with this Aziz story.
yeah, it sounds like he was a pig. Most of it was the claw. Let's be honest. It was the claw that was the most disturbing.
Claw's a bit forward.
It is. It's a ballsy move, and it's obviously his go-to, and he kept going to it, kept going to it, kept going to it, and it wasn't working.
Don't you have to have some level of invitation to enter the vagine? Like,
Usually,
if
yeah.
I'm remembering the story right, they're just making out. He puts her up on the counter. He goes claw, 2 hands into her mouth, or 2 fingers into her mouth.
V
the
fingers.
V, forming the V. Down into her throat, grabs some saliva, and then boom, right
Right
up the
to the
vagine.
vagine.
That's
Right
the
to the
claw.
vagine.
That's the move.
Yeah.
To me, that's assaultive. But
Well, she claims it's bad date. It's bad date. So anyway, she does this 5-minute diatribe on Headline News going, you know, you were hurting the hashtag #MeToo movement with your words by saying this is a bad date. He was a pig. You should have got up, dusted off your dress, and walked out the fucking door, flipped him off. And
That's
done
an
with
argument
it.
too, because that's what we concluded after. Like, wow, there are a lot of opportunities for this chick to leave.
Yeah.
Now we don't know all the ins and outs, and it's hard to say exactly how people felt and so forth. But
And it's
yeah,
hard for
you
us
could
as
understand
guys to-
after reading that one where it's like, wow, there's a lot of opportunity. You kept going back for more. It's a weird story.
Well, for us, it was hard because we were tap dancing. I didn't want to come off as like going, you dumb girl. You should, here's where you could have.
But now you feel like
but
you
we
can
did-
because Ashley Banfield.
No, I won't say
Do
that.
you do you wish you would have?
No,
Do you
I
wish you
don't-
would have said what Ashley Banfield did?
No, I'm fine with how I positioned it. I am. But if you notice, and if you looked at our notes, there were highlighted moments, like 3 or 4 of them, where it was like, that's a clear out. That right there is a clear bye-bye.
Yeah.
There's another one. There's another one. And so at what point is some of the responsibility on her? But people were getting murdered for even suggesting
Yeah.
that. It's like he was a creep. Fuck him. And so it was nice to see a girl come out and go, no, I saw the outs that you saw, Detroit Cast. I saw the same ones, and she's not a tiny little girl.
It's
and a
reasonable to
personal
question,
victim,
yeah.
You know, because I was starting to wonder, like, okay, I know what these holes are, but I'm a guy, so I would set that and go, oh, let's just chill on the couch then. No. He's already lost his chance because he's going to claw you again. I know the claw's coming. How do you not know that? But she's a girl. Maybe she doesn't know that the claw's coming twice, thrice, 4 thrice times.
Fool me once,
Shame on.
shame on.
Shame on you. There's an old saying in Tennessee, I believe in Texas too. Fool me. Won't get fooled again.
I won't be fooled again.
And so the claw like fooled her like 4 times.
I know.
And so for me, the reason I say no, that I don't take it back, Jay, is it's very clear to me and to you as guys what that layout was. And if
No,
she
I'm
wasn't,
asking you. Do you wish you would have said what Ashley Banfield said right
I
out of the gate? Say, you know what? This is a bad date. Get over
No.
it. You should have left.
No. Here's why. Because I saw those things as a guy and what the guy was laying out there. And so my thought process was, well, is that fair? Because I'm a guy, and I know how a guy would think, and a guy's going to keep pressing it, trying to get somewhere. Is it fair that every girl knows that? And if they don't, and she actually believed that, oh, we're going to sit on the couch, she's going to rub my shoulders. No, the claw's coming.
Didn't she think he was going to feel her hair too or something?
Yes, but of course the claws. You know it, I know it. And so when Ashley Banfield came out and went, no, the claw's coming. Moron, dust your dress off and get out of there. Then I was like, oh, okay, it's not just us. Even women are able to see the hole in this. So anyway, Ashley blasts this chick on Headline News, and they invited the writer of the Babe.com article. Okay, so the 22-year-old girl that wrote the article about Grace, fake name.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, you know, you want to be on the show? We'd
Yeah,
love to
obviously
talk
your
to you."
source wants to remain anonymous. We can't have the actual girl on, but you wrote the article, so why don't you come on and tell that side of the story?
Yes. And so Ashley had said stuff like, you know, hey, the reason I want to share is because if you truly believe in the Me Too movement, if you truly believe in women's rights, in feminism, the last thing you should do is attack someone in an ad hominem way for her age. So Katie Way is the author of the article, and Katie shits all over Ashley Banfield. Old bird, you 50-year-old, washed up, nobody's ever heard of you. Anyone my age has never even heard of
This
you, would ever
is
watch
such an
you.
unprofessional response.
Yes.
It is so
With your-
bad.
With your bad highlights and your fucking lipstick.
Yeah, she's
And it-
acting all holier than Ashley in responding. Like, oh, you just dissed the movement, but in doing so, she just is so unprofessional.
She actually was saying she was 45. Like, you old bird, you 45-year-old. She's ragging on her. And she's like,
Ashley's actually 50.
Ashley's
Oh.
So Ashley responded like, actually, I'm 50, and for my highlights, you know, whatever. She says something about her highlights, but she's like, this ageist language, ageist. She's like, I was brown-haired for a while I was a war correspondent interviewing Yasser Arafat in Afghanistan, Iraq, Gaza, and the West Bank. Google those places.
Or Bingham, whatever.
This is not the way we have this conversation as women or men. We do not attack people for their age or their highlights or their lipstick because it is the most hypocritical thing a woman who says she supports the women's movement could ever do, and that's the caliber of the woman who was given all this power and was able to wield this power. And so, anyways, after she invites her on the show, I guess the full note that she'd written back was, "It's an unequivocal no from me," as far as like going on Headline News. The way your colleague Ashley, question mark, like I don't even know her name, someone I'm certain no one under the age of 45 has ever even heard of, by the way, ripped into my source directly, was one of the lowest, most despicable things I've ever seen in my entire life. Shame on her. Shame on Headline News. Ashley could have talked to me. She could have talked to my editor of my publication. But instead, she targeted a 23-year-old woman in one of those vulnerable moments in her life. Someone she never fucking met before for little attention. I hope the ratings were worth it. Hope the 500 retweets on the single news write-up made that burgundy lipstick, bad highlights, second-wave feminist has-been feel really relevant for a little while.
Oh, man.
Wow.
She
So
disgusts
unprofessional.
me. This is from a woman. Has anyone in this room heard of Babe.com until 3 days ago?
No.
This is a international news correspondent, anchor, Ashley Banfield. You should hope to God, 22-year-old Katie Way, when your career's finished, you have half the credentials that Ashley Banfield does. I hope when she has more distance from the moment, she has enough of a conscience left to feel remotely ashamed. Doubt it, but still.
But still.
What is her
Like
looks
a-
have? I just can't get
Written
over
like
the
a true
looks thing, dude.
22-year-old, but still,
Yeah.
period. Must be nice to piggyback off of the fact that another woman was brave enough to speak up and add another dimension to the societal conversation about assault. Grace wouldn't know how that feels because she struck out into this alone because she's the bravest person I've ever met. I would never go on your network. I would never even watch your network. No woman my age would ever watch your network. I remember this for the rest of my career. I'm 22 and so far not too shabby. She actually
What?
wrote that.
Why is that?
And I will laugh
Not
the
too
day.
shabby like she's in the news
No,
at
I-
22.
yeah,
and
no, I
she's
get it,
hot
but I
shit.
mean,
Hot shit at 22. Never heard of Babe.com. Hello, not too shabby. If you could let Ashley know I said this, so she ends it with, "I will laugh the day you fold, Ashley." If you could let Ashley know that I said this and that she is no holds barred, the reason, it'd be a real treat for me. Thanks, Katie.
Oh, Katie.
Yeah. So Lastly, Ashley said something along the lines, the Me Too movement has righted a lot of wrongs. It's made your career path much smoother. What a gift. Yet you look that gift horse in the mouth and chisel away at that powerful movement with your public accusation. After the next time you go on a bad date, you stand up sooner, you smooth out your dress, and you bloody well leave. Because the only sentence that a guy like that deserves is a bad case of blue balls, not a Hollywood blackball. Boom!
Boom, Ashley!
Go get him, Ashley.
You know, Katie was so emboldened by her millennial peers. You know, when Ashley came out, everybody, oh my God, I can't believe this, you know.
The nerve.
Yeah. She said, don't worry, I'm going to respond. Don't worry,
what,
just wait for my response.
Dude, for real, she's just one of those old bags who grew up in a generation that like encouraged.
She's part of the problem.
The pigs that we all see, and we're dealing with it today. It's the Ashley, whatever her name is, old fucking bird with her stupid highlights. It's her fault that we're even dealing with this now. Assholes.
They have they have amazing articles on babe.net, such as this woman who used a dildo to measure the snow is a modern day hero.
That's the epic
I need
writing
more.
there. So Nancy Pelosi was just announced as a guest judge on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Holy shit. Hey, did you see that video going around last night, Jay, of the illegal alien. What is the word now? What are we supposed to say? It doesn't matter. The illegal that crossed the border and ended up killing 2 cops. Did you see him in court?
Yes.
Fucking A, man.
Yelling out about how he'd kill all the motherfuckers. And
can we shoot him in the face now? Like, he wanted the
big
death.
Smile on his face.
He was proud of what he'd done, and he wants the death penalty. And his lawyers are trying to keep him off death row. I say we just do it. Like, he'd been deported twice. He's here illegally. Ends up going on like some rampage with his girl.
It's the whole due process, constitutional thing.
Fuck that.
I know.
That's for American citizens, not fuck faces.
I know.
Why does he get the due? He doesn't have rights. He's not American. Can't we just shoot his face and be done with it? You want to brag about murdering cops in our country and you're not welcome in this country? You might get shot in the face.
You might.
Do you want to hear? Do you have a video of him in court? This smug asshole.
Dastardly.
His name is Luis Bracamontes. He's 37 years old in Sacramento Superior Court. It's for the 2014 murders of Sacramento Sheriff's Deputy Danny Oliver and Placer. I'm assuming Placer is a city. Sheriff's Deputy Michael Davis. I wish I would have killed more of these motherfuckers, he said before the judge. I will break out soon. I will kill more. Kill whoever gets in front of me, man.
Often smiling, Luis Bracamontes interrupted the prosecutor
What an evil bastard.
times.
Look at that piece of
He
shit.
described in detail the events of October 24th.
Step out of the hallway. They're dead.
Judge Steve
I
White
killed all those
eventually had to
motherfuckers,
dismiss the jury
Holmes.
for a short time, as Bracamontes showed little remorse, being accused
Little?
of killing Sacramento County
How about
Deputy
little
Oliver,
remorse? He's.
Placer County Detective
You think he was at a
Davis.
stand-up show?
You regret that. The only thing that regret is that
The only thing I regret, man, is that I only killed 2.
kill more of them.
Wish I would have killed more of those
Lawyers are
motherfuckers.
like, okay, Mr. Ramirez,
Look at his fat, gross girlfriend smirking, too. Did you see that? Trying not to laugh into her hands. Just sniggering away in court.
Attorneys have said he's not always cooperated with them. During their opening statements, they said they're not trying to prove his innocence.
We are not contesting many of these charges.
They seem to be instead arguing their client.
Yeah, he was on meth. That's what they're saying. Like, he was out of his mind. No, he killed them for sure. And he's like, si, senor, I did. I wish I killed more.
seems like a futile attempt by the lawyers. They're like, we're not trying to prove that he didn't do this. We're just trying to keep him off death row, make him look like a human being. And he's over here, I'd kill everybody.
The only thing I regret, man, is that I didn't kill more. Speedy Gonzalez.
Oh, humans.
Fuck, aren't they the worst? Just, dude, think about where, like, and I was looking at his mug shots over the years, and it's like, yeah, he should have been shot in the face 20 years ago. Like, you can just see, like, that guy doesn't look happy. He's just like, hot as a motherfucker.
Yeah.
And it's like, that guy's gonna cop kill one day. He is.
You can see it in their eyes.
And I know what people are saying. Oh, yeah, he's an illegal immigrant. Yes, I don't want him here. You know that illegal immigrants commit less crime on average than the citizens of the blah, blah. I don't give a fuck. You know how many crimes they should commit in the country? Fucking 0. They're here illegally. They should commit 0 crimes. We have enough shit in our own country to deal with. You keep your shit, we'll keep our shit. Fair enough?
It's very simple.
See the Border Patrol agents. I don't know why. This is probably bad. As a human being, this is probably bad, but there's a couple of these groups. You know these groups that are like, humanitarian groups, whether they go to some shithole country and they provide doctor services or whatever. Well, around the border, there's a couple of these humanitarian groups.
Oh, people leave water and food?
Yeah,
because they know people are coming over. And
Yeah.
if they're coming over, you know what? At least keep them alive. They're human beings.
Right. And so they set out these gallons of water every few miles, and the border agents, they have the border agents on video just like, let's just shoot holes in these water bottles. You have video. Don't need these anymore. This is going to help some guy illegally come here. No use for those.
Very inhumane. Yeah, dumping out food here.
Oh, a bag of food. I bet that's for people who don't legally belong here. Might as well light this on fire.
And this is controversial.
Terribly controversial.
So you get a good shot.
Yeah, get a good shot.
Picking up this trash somebody left on the trail. It's not yours, is it? All you have to do is tell me, is it yours?
Just dumping out
Not yours.
gallons of water.
You're not going to tell me, huh?
All right, I'll just keep dumping it all out. They say that, like, to make the trek, like, because they've beefed up the border around these areas, that people are going longer routes, up mountains and down valleys and shit. And it's like, oh, it's a death trap. You get into those mountains and valleys, you're hitting.
Depending on that shit to survive.
You can only carry a couple gallons of water with you. You need that for like half a day. So you can't survive going this trek, you know, blah, blah, blah. And so these humanitarian efforts are putting this stuff out there. And, you know, part of me is like, fuck. The human part of me is like, all right, it's kind of addictive.
I know, but you don't want to encourage it.
I know.
What do you do? Cutting a hole in the fence, going, yeah, this side is better.
Yeah,
I mean, at what
and
point,
it
where do you
is.
draw the line, man?
It is.
I know.
You know, I mean, through tall mountains and deserts, temperatures over 100 degrees. I would say they're probably, like, knowing what we know and what they're willing to risk, they must be leaving a pretty big shithole, right? Would it be safe to say?
Pretty desperate, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the shithole that they're leaving.
That's a harrowing trek, Mike.
Yes, and they're willing to lay a lot on the line. My guess is it's probably a shithole they're leaving behind. Anyway, what do you think, dude? Do you think that's a dick move? Because the cops are saying, or the Border Patrol, and their leaders, you know, their management is saying, look, listen, if we knock over these water bottles, it makes them weaker and easier for us to find. I don't know if that's a good enough answer, but it's an answer.
Well, if word gets out that, hey, just make this trek around here, there'll be water for you, you can do it, and that proves not to be true, then word will get back. And you know, it's like, do you leave a ladder sitting next to the wall?
Yeah.
No.
I think my thought would be
You
is
don't
like,
make it easy for them. You don't encourage it. You take it away. I mean,
I know.
I kind of agree with you. I think that I don't know who filmed this, but him like filming it, you know, and kind of laughing about it. I think just do it. You know, I agree to almost do it, but like,
dude, you're not on the front line.
I
That
know.
guy's seen so much shit.
I know.
Dude, I was just going to say, imagine the 8 years he's just gone through where every time they even capture someone, it's like, let them in the country. They're Americans now.
Yeah,
you know,
you're probably-
and,
yeah,
and
you're
these
right.
guys are so
They're being
irritated,
shot
so
at.
frustrated. Yes, they know firsthand the amount of drugs and shit and bad hombres that are coming into this country.
Yeah.
They know that firsthand, and for them to just like have to release these, and these guys know it and laugh in their faces.
He wanted him to be more sensitive in his
no,
pouring
I
out
get,
of water.
I get what you're saying. You're right. I get that.
It's a tough situation.
It is. It's a very tough situation. I don't know.
I just don't think you can encourage it. I don't think you can provide means to more easily
Yeah.
cross the border.
I know, but then at the same time, I picture, you know, some fucking mom. I hate to do that. I hate to even say this. People are going to shit on me for this.
Some mom with her two
little
tiny girls,
tiny girls that are filthy, and they got
Oh,
one.
man.
They got one.
Now you're tugging at my
They
heartstrings,
got
Mike.
one flip flop.
Oh, the one flop. He blew out her flip flop. Stepped on a pop top.
So thirsty, senor. Please.
Oh, man.
Senor,
Leave the water.
I can't go any further.
You're right, Mike. Leave the water.
I have blisters on my toes, and I only have
you
one
were
flop.
right.
one flippity flop, and I just wanted one cup of water to make it over the mountain. I promise.
Pequeño chica!
Just give the wee little girl some water and then ride, please. But if that's the case, why don't we just have Jeeps there?
I know, that's what I'm
You know what I
saying.
mean?
You know, provide
I know,
a ladder
that's
over
the
the wall.
problem.
It's like, at what point do you...
You're right.
I think we have Jeeps there, but we only leave them 1 cup of gasoline in the tank. So they can only drive it like 15 feet, and then it's like,
Oh, you sons of bitch.
I see what you...
That was dick move.
for real. There's something strangely funny about the video when the guy's just like, goosh, and kicking these full jugs of water down the hill. It's like, oh, man. Let's take a quick break, Jay.
Sure.
Sure.
Come back with This Day in History with Big E.
Forgot about that. Justin Timberlake. Do you want to have E try and do the Tide Pod challenge?
Oh, absolutely. That's a big thing
Do
right
that.
now.
Why don't we do that? Today? I have some, by the way. I didn't know if
Good
you knew
for
that.
you.
I have some of those, so we'll get E doing the Tide Pod challenge next as well.
Just a pinch between his cheek and gum.
The Detroit Cast continues after this short break. The Detroit Cast continues now, bitches. Here's Mike and Jay.
All right, welcome back to the Detroit Cast, powered by DealsInTheD.com with Mike and Jay. Is it time to bring someone back into the advertising fold, Jay?
I think so. I'd be remiss if I did not mention our friend Kyle Mayer.
Let's welcome him back, that son of a bitch.
Mayer and Company Accountants.
I love how he just, like, for a few months, just is like, fuck it, I'm off to a beach somewhere.
Shuts it down.
Shuts it down. Shut it down.
Here we are. Tax time is upon us.
I am Shut It Down Kyle. See you guys in a few months.
Kyle's back. If you dread doing your personal or business taxes as much as you dread going to the auto show with no food being served, then let Kyle Mayer handle all that shit for you. He's a pro. You can trust him. Don't waste your time trying to figure out all those damn forms, numbers, and deductions. Leave it all to Kyle. Call him today, 248-521-0016. He'll give you the great price of $69 if you're one of the first 100 TDC listeners. Even if you're not, he'll give you 10% off.
Mm-hmm. He did my taxes last year. And Isis's. Right? Has he done yours 2 years in a row?
Yep, 2 years in a row.
He's a good boy. You can trust Kyle Mayer.
Isis, are you ready for this day in history with Big E?
Sure.
What do we have today, sir?
I have a slight headache. Do not make my bones hurt. This better be good.
And remember, I'm a visual learner.
I have a few images here I can share. Okay, so Jay was picking around this during the break, but 1788, Jay, is when the first elements of the England fleet arrive in Australia to make.
I'm not going to like this one at all. Wait, the first elements of what?
The first ships arrived to Australia to make the penal colony in Australia. The first convicts around the ships.
Funny, Mike and I were just talking about this issue.
I know. We were talking about this.
You call that a knife?
This is something that I've always found interesting.
Put another shrimp on the barbie. We're just speaking Australian during the break.
Yeah. I understand that. This is something I actually always
That's not a knife.
Have always kind of found Australia.
This is a knife.
Oh my god.
1999.
Sure.
All right, so let's reset. 1788.
1788. I will say.
Jay, do you mind if I play with your titty?
I will say that. Yes, the term Australia, which means unknown southern land, was because hundreds of years before this penal colony, there was like rumors that there was just kind of land over in this area, but no one had like proven that it was so.
So an apt name.
And James Cook.
I'll be damned.
Is
that
the
son
one
of a
that you were
bitch.
talking about earlier. Here he is.
Oh, crikey.
There's James Cook. Explorer James Cook.
Looks like a fine man.
Yeah, Jim, looking strong.
He finds Australia, and he officially discovers Australia on April 20th of 1770. But the funny thing is, of course, we talk about like the joking of that dad just putting his, flag in the ground over there and like, over
princess.
the Mideast or whatever. Yeah, dude. We talk, this guy just finally discovers it. They've been hundreds of years of like theory that there was some level of big land here. He discovers it and just goes, "Yep, this is all England's now."
On the next
Doesn't
thing,
matter
man.
that there was already people there already.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah.
You go, yep, everything you can see far and wide, it's ours now.
Once
It's ours.
again,
Volume.
Absolute people already living there. Absolutely, native society, indigenous people.
Aborigines.
And he just
Aboriginal.
James Cook just comes there and goes, "Yep, this is for England." Now, they didn't do anything with it for a long time after that, and actually, they were sending all of their convicts over to America and the colonies.
Let me ask you this before you move on from there. Isn't it true that Captain James Cook, once he discovered the Hawaiian Islands, just headed south? Southwest and ran into Australia?
Certainly could be.
Because this was an accident?
He did indeed discover the Hawaiian Islands in 1778.
Wow, I didn't know that.
He's covering some ground. And think about this. How freaking unbelievably lucky that is to run into those Hawaiian Islands.
Oh.
Have you looked at the vastness of the Pacific lately,
it's
Mike?
a sliver. It's a sliver of land that pops up out of the Pacific.
Well, I mean, it just shows you obviously what a time you're living in when there was just like for years, it was just rumored that we think there's a big land over here kind of south of
Let me ask you this.
Where,
Who's spreading that rumor?
other people,
Lewis
over
and Clark.
shipsmen, I guess. I don't know.
How does that rumor come to be?
I do not know that, Jay. That really wasn't what this was more about. I just kind of got into that.
Professor Jay, let me ask you this.
Oh, my God.
In 1788, was this a time when people were on the fence as to whether or not we're dealing with a flat Earth or a round one?
No, we knew
They
it was
knew it
round
was
at that
round.
point.
We did.
Yeah.
Because we put the flag on the moon. got some nice pictures sent back, and then we knew.
Okay.
So anyway, we
they had
were
theorized
we
that,
were
yeah.
sending
Okay.
these. They were sending these. And what had happened was in England, they were really getting rampant with just thievery and and alcoholism because there was nothing.
Scoundrels.
There was.
Villainy.
Their economy was down, and so there was not a lot of jobs, and their whole town was just full of people. And gin was very easy to buy, very cheap to buy. So there's just a bunch, and they don't know what to do with all these people, so they keep sentencing them to harsh punishments, and people think that being a criminal is in fact contagious. So they're
what? Contagious?
It's contagious. They think it's like if you're a criminal, you
Rubs
will
off on
infect other people. So they're sending them over to America.
Man, I caught me some criminal.
Starting in
God
1610.
damn it, I've been bitten by criminal.
I feel like shit, man.
Starting in 1610, they're sending all these people over to the colonies, and when
1610
is when they start sending criminals over to the colonies area. And when we finally have the American Revolution, we say, yeah, no, we're not taking your criminals anymore.
Not taking your shithole people.
Careful, Jay.
Wow, look at that. Way back in the day.
We're not saying shithole people. We're saying the land is a shithole.
Oh, okay.
Not the
So,
people.
but
in 1610, I taught you the other day, E, the population in the great country of America was only 350. It's
those are
not
mostly
counting the
convicts.
engines. It's not counting the engines.
Of course not. So then they think about sending the convicts to Canada, but Canada doesn't want them really. And also their worry is that because there's had been an uprising in the Americas, that if they sent the convicts to Canada, they might get wise enough and be like, hey, maybe we could take over this country too. We don't need to be here.
The inmates running the asylum.
Yep.
So to speak.
And then they were going to send them to some plantations, but then those people, the plantation owners, did not want to do it because. Again, with criminals, even though they're criminals, they're going to have thoughts that they should have rights and be paid on some level. And, they could get the cheaper black slaves for free. So they finally pick Australia. They pick that they're going to go down to what was called...
What's so funny about the cheaper black slaves phrase there, E?
Is that it's insane, I guess. It's so It's
a decent answer. I laughed at the absurdity of it. It's not bad, E.
So
when they landed in Australia, is the story true that they ran into one man who pulled a knife on him and they went, that's not a knife?
It's not true.
This is a knife.
This is who took him over there. Arthur
Now that's
Phillip.
a knife.
Arthur Phillip is the captain that led the mission from England.
Okay.
Does he have an ass in the front of his pants? What's going on there? Why is his butt in the front of him? Did you see it?
I do.
I don't know.
Big
I will say
badge.
this.
I don't
This
know what
has
that is.
nothing to do with. This has nothing to do with really like the day of them landing in Australia.
Tell us anyway.
But I will say that at one point, Arthur Phillip he had 2 wives in his life, and his first wife he married was 16 years his younger. I looked into like when he was born and when he got married. It appears that he of 25 or 26 married a 10-year-old.
Way to dig, E. See, that's the type of historian we want.
Based on when he was born.
If he would have said she was 16 years younger, we would have said, how old was she?
A lot of people gloss over that, right? But E digs. I like it.
The guys are going to ask me about if the pedophilia was going on. I
Well,
better know my stuff.
It's kind of based on when when his wife's birthday exactly was. But I mean, it was between
9 or 10.
It was between 9 or 10, and he was 26.
God, man.
Which that marriage ended in.
Dude, back then you wouldn't even blink at that. It's like, good for Carl. He's banging a 10-year-old.
Although actually that marriage did not go well, and he ended up divorcing her. But anyway,
probably didn't have a lot in common with her.
But then he becomes a guy who takes.
I don't want
the
to play
ship.
hopscotch. I'm going to go discover something.
And
a continent, maybe. I don't know.
This was.
I'm going to hop on over south from Papua New Guinea and see what I find.
This was their route.
Taking the long route from Portsmouth through South America, making my way over to Australia.
Yeah, this was their route that they took to get down there. They didn't have just convicts. There were, of course, other people. Although Mike, this is funny. I was thinking about Mike when I read this. They were very quick to literally transport people based on just like petty crimes. So Mike always gets on this thing
the
about
kids selling
like,
acid at the Grateful Dead show.
One of the youngest.
It's all those guys.
There
Huh?
was one of the youngest kids. One of the youngest.
They weighed the
people-
paper. They weighed the paper,
dude. It's bullshit.
It was like card stock.
Kid had like 12 hits of acid. He's doing life, bro. That's bullshit.
The youngest convict that was part
it's
of
like
this.
cardboard thick.
The youngest convict that was part of this like 700 plus first people shipped down here was John Hudson, an 11-year-old chimney sweep. And he was sentenced to go on to this.
He was held 11?
Sounds like a damn Dickens character,
They
man.
say it sounds like based on how harsh it was not likely his first offense, but still an 11-year-old chimney sweep was part of this.
Dude, I'm telling you, if I leave Portsmouth in May of 1787, and then in June of 1787 I land in the Canary Islands, I'm pulling up ship, man. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm in the Canary Islands. Now it's time to start inventing plumbing, indoor plumbing.
Well, you got to remember his
Get
job.
myself
I mean,
a nice
this is-
coastal place.
He's working for the Queen or the King of England, and whatnot. So I mean, it's his job to get to Australia.
And what's he gonna do? Call him up and bitch at him if he doesn't get
They
there?
did say, by the way, within a week there was already an attempted mutiny from the criminals, but it was put down, and there was not really any further after that. Although there was several women.
So what was part of their job to transport these prisoners to?
Well, they were kind of
put them on another land. Why wouldn't they just throw them overboard? Why would you
So
even?
they wanted
put
to
up with it?
colonize this new land.
They did want to colonize a new land, and in a way, just like in America, a way to
Did you just
colonize.
tell them you did? Go King, yeah, it's colonized as a motherfucker.
Colonized,
Seriously.
check.
Check, it's done, dog. They are so colonized right now.
Yeah, I guess. I suppose
It's
you
the
could.
best colony.
Colonization you've ever seen.
I suppose you could do
Totally
that.
colonized.
It does talk about too about how the fact that the women, there was women ships and men ships, but the women ships still had men running the ships, obviously. And it talks about how often they were getting it on, and how
Well, how
disgusting
often?
it would, just regularly,
Yeah.
despite the fact that there was punishment for it.
What's regular for a seaman in
It
1780?
just said it said regularly they were getting it out.
Dude, 1787 pussy is
on
I
this
don't-
ship, dude. On these
I
ships,
just don't
you're
want
talk-
anything to do
No.
with 1787
You're
pussy. I'm sorry.
talking about on ships that it is just disgusting. They said regularly because of the hot weather and running into bad weather, they would have to just be below ship for days at a time.
Poop everywhere.
Nowhere.
I mean, tampons weren't rampant in the 1780s either. You know what I mean? They're just probably bleeding out on the deck.
Now, I will say, if
Ugh.
someone wants to be a smartass and look up this date, January 18th and 20th is when they land, finally make it to Australia. Actual Australia Day, which recognizes, England putting their flag, making this penal colony is
that when he met the guy on the shore?
January
and had to go,
26th.
That's not a knife.
No,
This is a knife.
They were supposed to go to a different bay, and the bay they were at sucked, so then they ended up going to where Sydney is.
This base sucks.
This base stinks. There's one guy there with a butter knife.
And
That's not a knife.
Mike, at one point, you might like this, some troops are involved. At one point, they did stop to get some animals and whatnot for the colony. So at one point, there was...
Thanks for the lift, fellas.
There was 2 bulls, 7 cows, 1 stallion, 3 mares. I don't know what a mare is.
It's a mare.
Mare. 44
Jesus
sheep.
Fuck, man. You said stallion and then a mar?
I don't know.
Really?
Yes.
Unless it's Bill, I don't think that happened.
I don't
You
know
go
what a mare
stallion and a mare.
I
It's a
actually don't know.
horse.
Okay, sorry. Didn't know what that is. 32 pigs, 4 goats.
Yeah.
So that was they.
4
they had to-
goats.
They had to stop and get that stuff. Anyway, the point I guess to most of this was I was more interested in I actually have always kind of been interested. There's always a joke of just Australia started as a bunch of just a bunch
Criminals.
of thieves and criminals, which it kind of did.
But
there was several other they were already doing it in America first, and and other countries were doing this and putting people in different places. So it wasn't I don't know, and there was still a government there. They still had, set up to make the colony.
Is there any pushback from the Aboriginal peoples?
Well, they did originally say...
Lots of conflict,
they
I
did
would think.
say-
No?
they
Bloody
did-
wars?
Well, they did say they came in and said...
You saying North American Indians are more proud people than the
No, that's what I'm saying. Arthur Phillip did...
Aborigines of Australia?
Arthur Phillip, that was the governor also of the area, and the first, like I said, the captain there, did have a stand right away saying there was not going to be slavery. They were not going to take the indigenous people and make them slaves. But yes, there was, of course, conflict.
What a bunch of bullshit. Think about that.
Yeah.
The white man just rolls in and just flattens it. It's ours.
We'll take this.
God.
I know.
Steals
He
people,
did say that.
land.
Yes, they did say there was no. There's of course controversy on whether they created smallpox in the area or not. I would imagine that I would guess that
Probably.
we did bring smallpox to these people.
In defense, though, they brought a lot of bullshit over to our New York Harbor.
Who?
Anybody that came from Europe
Yeah,
on those
of course,
boats.
Of course.
Rats and cats and all kinds of vermin and shit.
Trying to
I'm sure there was a lot of pox that was transported from coast to coast.
Yeah, so anyway, it was just, and then the thing is, people that were brought here were sentenced to either 7 years or 14 years.
And who's holding them to that?
But-
They don't have jails at this point.
Well, no,
I mean,
they make jails, and actually, what happens is because there are several obviously English people there that make it. But what does happen is the criminals are so, rampant in the end that he does have to turn to like the least problemsome criminals and have them kind of police themselves.
Yeah.
But when you say what did he shit, I was gonna say
Dude,
something.
what a badass time to be a criminal. What better time than the 1780s? You know what I mean?
I guess.
Well, not
I'm
really.
going to need
not
you
really,
to police
because-
your team of criminals.
Not really, because here's the thing. What I was about to say before you said that was like they were scheduled to either 7 or 14 years of this, for example. But when your time was up, they did not provide you transportation back. It's just, now you're here.
New land.
So do
it's
it.
all right.
I understand it, but you say what a time to
It's
be
kind of
alive.
like jail here, though, man. They open the doors
They
on
were-
your day out, and they
Mike,
just hand
there
you
was-
whatever you came in with and went, good luck, sir. Good luck out
Mike,
there.
there are stories of them getting, the lashings they would get from the most minor thing, because you have to be stern. And they talk about getting up to 100 lashings.
Stern. He used the word. I just feel like he read that a moment ago.
He
There's
did.
no way he pulled that out of his brain.
No, that-
You had to be stern with your 1,700 prisoners.
Well, anyway, but so Mike's saying that what a time to be a criminal. Dude, you're talking about people that maybe just got caught for petty theft, and now you're on a ship,
petty left leads to
petty theft. they
very,
said.
very non-petty theft. I mean,
But
it
that's your
it
argument.
escalates.
You just said it's a great time to be a criminal. I'm talking you can literally get caught stealing like a loaf of bread,
It's
and
a
now you're
gateway crime.
now you're on a ship.
Gateway crime.
I understand that, but
It
it's
is
not
a
a time to
gateway
be a
crime.
criminal. And Mike's idea of
Well,
I don't know what's
I don't know.
my deal?
I'm not trying to throw a wrench into your speech here, E. I'm just thinking if you've got a boat, an underling of a boat
here's kind of an
filled
image
with
of them.
criminals, you would think they would team up and be like, fuck these guys upstairs,
It's a
man.
big danger, yeah.
Who are
Didn't
you? I stole a loaf of bread. Go fuck yourself.
Didn't I tell you that that there was one attempt at a mutiny and it was put down? There's enough offers. There's there's 11 ships.
All right. Hey, this is your expertise.
Firepower, baby.
Yeah, there's still plenty of English officers, military men to hold them in order. But I don't know. It was interesting to me, I guess, some of that stuff.
Well,
Very
thank you,
interesting.
Isis. That was a very fine presentation.
I like that one. That was not bad. Not bad.
Hey, got to tell you about the Hamlin Pub. 5 locations: Clarkston, Chesterfield, Rochester, and 2 in Shelby Township. Hammond Pub offers a wide selection of craft beers. Most are brewed right here in Michigan. They have great happy hour specials Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. Half off appetizers on Monday. So check out all their specials at all 5 locations. Go to hamlinpubs.com.
Before we get to some email, Jay.
We do have some email.
We do? Justin Timberlake. I think he's got a new album dropping.
He better, because he's
Yeah.
going to be doing the halftime show,
He does.
Super Bowl.
Shouldn't that be out? I know he does, but shouldn't that be?
Yeah,
you would think that
dude.
would have been out by 3
Yes.
months ago. You know what I mean? Like we'd all be
Or
singing
like-
the hooks and stuff.
Yeah, right before Christmas, you know?
Yeah.
Not the big time.
It's weird. He's a weird one to me because I've liked his stuff. Do you like any of Timberlake's music?
Sure, yeah.
I mean,
I'll hate
outside
the
of like
dude.
bye bye bye, you know, like that stuff.
Bye.
I don't like that stuff, but I do like
Bringing
some
sexy
of his.
back.
Yeah,
He
mirrors.
brought sexy back, Mike.
You know, once he started working with, was it Jay-Z?
Yes.
Yeah. I like some of that stuff. But anyway, he's been like quiet for years. He hasn't put anything out.
Seems like it.
No movies either. He was doing movies and SNL all the time. But anyway,
Dick in a
he's-
box.
It's great. He's doing the halftime show, which of course leads people to going, hey, remember last time you did the halftime show?
Why not Janet
14 years ago?"
Jackson?
And so he's obviously been prepared. Like he's going to have to do press to promote the Super Bowl, his new album. Like there's going to be a whole thing that comes with that. And so he's starting to do the interviews now.
Revisiting the wardrobe malfunction.
Yes.
What year was that?
That was
Was that like 99 or something?
No, in 2004. So 13, 14 years ago. And so, yeah, he says that he's kind of made peace with her over that. You know, there was...
Did he have to? I thought it was just a contrived event. He was going to pull that, and she was going to have a
Yeah.
Right,
pasty
that's the
on her
funny thing.
nipple.
Why would he have to make peace?
Well, people were really pissed, and of course it split down racial lines. And if you remember, right when it was announced that he was going to do the Super Bowl this year, #JusticeForJanet started trending. Because it was like, her career went in the shitter, and his went way up, and it's because he's white, obviously, and white people suck. And she's black, and so that's why she was vilified, and he was the hero. And, you know, I can't remember if that was like her set and she invited him out or if it was his set. You know, I don't remember the small details there. But she did give an interview, I want to say to the Daily Mail, like a year later after it happened, and said, yeah, I planned to do something. It went awry. He was supposed to pull, you know. So who knows? I mean, the backlash was so strong, and it fucked radio and media in general.
Yeah,
really
it
got
changed
hammered.
everything.
It changed the landscape completely. And I don't even think it was her titty that was out. I think it was I think there was a
pasty
tassel.
over it.
Yeah, a pasty on her nip. But yeah, she did go underground. But she was known for doing that. Didn't she get married and she was wearing the hijab and shit? And she was married to some
Yes.
billionaire
Yep.
Arab guy. And so I don't know that she was dying to tour. Who knows? But anyway, a lot of people just went, oh my God, she's black. And everyone blamed her. So hashtag justice for Janet. And so Timberlake is now being asked about it. And he said something like, you know, what do you want me to say? You know, we're not going to do it again. It's the biggest stage in the world. And to come off that stage, so the guy interviewing him says, yeah, to come off that stage back then and realize that everything was supposed to go to plan and now the whole thing is something completely different. He's like, yeah, I stumbled through it, you know. To be quite honest, I had my wires crossed, and it's something they have to look back on and go like, okay, well, you can't change what's happened, but you can move forward and learn from it. And you and Janet, you were able to make peace of the whole thing? Absolutely, yeah. And I don't know that a lot of people know that. I mean, I don't think it's my job to do that because you value the relationships that you do have with people. I'm not exactly sure what exactly that means.
Yeah, that's kind of a murky comment.
Yeah.
Do you really think either of them were punished in any way based on that? Obviously, the FCC took great offense and great action thereafter. But personally, do you think those guys suffered at all? You know, Janet, her career went as you described, you know, but I don't.
Yeah.
Was that a function of that?
I don't know. I mean, so many artists.
Timberlake obviously rose after that, and
But when you think about the Janet Jackson wardrobe malfunction, you think of her titty. I don't think of Justin Timberlake, and maybe that's the point. Is that you know he was a part of this as she was. He pulled it, and you only think of her titty, and you put her face with the problem, and maybe that's what people are upset about. I don't know. I think that's Madonna has done shit like that and jumped to greater success for doing it.
Yeah.
So it depends how you play it. My guess is Janet Jackson has made a ton of money, doesn't need to do stuff, and she would go
Right.
away for long stretches of time. So I don't know that I blame this. I do, honestly, I know this is kind of cheesy. I think it'd be badass, though, if Justin Timberlake during his thing brought her out as a surprise guest. All of a sudden, she pops out from under the stage. I think that would be
badass, as
I
you
think
said.
I think it'd be badass, don't you? Shut up. You don't think that'd be cool?
Sure. Dude, words mean something, Mike.
I know.
You just described it as badass.
I think
it's gonna. That'd be
Shut
badass.
up, E. Shut up, E. Do not laugh at that. Do not laugh
That'd be
at that.
fucking badass, man.
Isis,
dude.
So help me. Shut up, you.
If Timberlake
Isis,
walks out there,
Isis, do not fucking
and
laugh at
Janet
that.
Jackson comes
Isis,
up on the stage,
you're
that
a
would
guy-
be badass.
You're a guy who cries at sporting events. You're a guy who cries at a sporting parade for a team you don't even like. It's
Cry
emotion.
at the-
Emotional.
Wait a minute, whoa. I
Cubs.
didn't cry at the Cubs parade.
You could have.
Mike, I certainly don't think it's out of bounds to describe that as
This
remarkable
man has
or
no
notable.
heart or emotion. E, you do. You know sports
I do
are
get it.
emotional.
I get
you know
it.
entertainment is emotional.
I agree.
It would be kind of badass. Not badass. It'd be kind of
said,
badass.
dude, that'd be
It'd be kind of
badass.
cool though. Wouldn't it be kind of cool? No, I'm not asking
It'd
you.
be,
E.
it'd be notable.
Wouldn't it be like, oh, I get it, full circle?
It would warrant notation.
And then especially if when she came out, he pulled off her thing and she was butt-ass naked. Huge bush, nips, everything.
What if she had like a whole nother bodysuit underneath and it was like a joke? Oh, you thought I was going to.
Oh, my God.
But here I am fully
I
clothed.
just thought I was going to be nude and I wasn't.
Yeah.
Shame on you.
That would be badass, Mike.
It's
It
not
would
funny.
warrant mention.
It's not funny, E.
Okay.
E.
Do you
I
think,
have more stories, and I'm going to do them in extra content because I don't want to talk to you right now.
do you think it's possible they do that?
I don't know,
that
but
she
it'd be badass if they did.
I think it's very possible she makes some sort of appearance.
I think it'd be cool. I think that'd be a cool thing to do. Maybe it's too obvious,
Yeah.
so you can't. But
tie the whole thing up.
I'd like to hear from her. I'd like to hear her interview going, oh, yeah, we totally made peace about this. We're totally cool.
Well,
it's one thing
am
for
I
him to
out-
say it, but
am I totally off the reservation here by saying it was her, dude? I mean, it was her boob. She set up her boob to have a tassel on it and
it
to
was
be
her
exposed.
idea. It was her idea.
Yeah. So yes, he was the mechanic that pulled that away.
Yeah.
During that, but it was her show, and she was displaying her boob. And frankly, I mean, let's step back. Very inappropriate setting. Halftime show of Super
know.
Bowl. You know what I mean?
Lots of kids watching.
It really was.
No, I know it's a family event,
And you can
this is
agree
the
or
problem.
disagree
No,
about
I
the
agree.
pushback that FCC did and all that stuff, but
Out of
I mean,
control.
come on, man, that was over the line.
It was way over the line. If you remember, it was the Pepsi halftime show, and it was put together by MTV. They had done MTV a couple years in a row, and MTV pushes the envelope. MTV's younger and cooler and hipper, and they're going to push the envelope. And so I think MTV was moved away from that for years. I don't know if they've ever been involved again, but it was one of those things where it was like everybody as a country knew, like, okay, fuck you. That's bullshit, man. We get enough of this stuff on a daily basis that we're trying to hide our kids from seeing. The one place we should be able to not deal with this is Super Bowl Sunday. That's the one place you should feel safe. Like, hey, my whole family's sitting down to watch the game.
Yeah.
And I understand that. I totally
So I guess
do.
my point is I don't have a huge amount of sympathy for her. I mean, she took a risk, and she's got very famous for it.
Yeah.
Maybe she looks back and thinks she should have parlayed that into greater attention or greater money. Who knows? And maybe she's pissed about that. I don't know.
I
Maybe
don't
she
care
feels-
either way. The only reason I even think that it's worth addressing it all is because there is a massive portion of the population that believes fully
that it's racial.
that there was racial divide there, that a woman who was African American got treated one way and white boy got treated a different way. And if that's what you believe, I mean, why not make that better if you can? I don't know.
You can email us at email@detroitcast.com.
Or Jay at
If you'd like to
detroitcast.com.
comment.
Never mind.
I think we have time for the musings of Wolfie on a midget. Of course, he has another Marine Corps story.
Dude,
this one involves a midget. I think we have time for it.
Of course we do. His drawing the other day of
The claw.
Aziz Ansari doing the claw with a terrified, shaking Chihuahua little girl in the corner. I don't know why I laughed so hard, but just seeing the fact that he drew a tiny little Indian man with a claw fingers.
Little
on
tiny
Twitter.
panoose.
Oh, yeah.
Wolfie writes in with a sexy midget tome. Hey, girls, after hearing Eric say that he thought the midget daughter in that full midget family, of course, we're talking about Warwick Davis's family, the guy from Star Wars and Willow.
Yeah.
When Eric said that that chick was hot, I thought I would share yet another story from my days in the Marine Corps. Down on the Carolina coast, we would spend most weekends drinking on the beach, chasing girls. Yes, the same beach that I found my lovely Ruby on, the Amish hottie. Well, there was a young lady of legend who everybody knew. Her name was simply Midget. Yes, Midget. As you can probably guess, she was indeed a teeny tiny person.
Yeah.
I seriously don't know her real name because I never heard her real name. Everybody just called her Midget, and she didn't seem to mind. She was always at the beach bars, loose off the leash, in a small bikini. And when I say small, it's not only because she's small. The bikini was even small for her. There was no shame in her game. She was actually kind of hot. She was actually kind of hot, says Wilson.
I want photos. I don't buy this. He's always hooking up with the hottest midgets, the
Amish
hottest
chicks.
Amish
Yeah.
chicks.
I
Dude.
mean, as midgets go, he says. Anyway, one weekend, my roommate decided to have a go at Midget. And I love how he's capitalizing Midget as a proper name. His name's Midget. She was all about it. We all drank and had a great time. She ended up coming back to the base with us and hooked up with my bro. You have to sneak her in? Like, if you take a chick back to the base, I assume you
Like in a
do,
grocery
right?
bag or something?
Yeah, a little duffel bag.
Yeah.
Little Meyer bag.
Why
Carry
not?
her in. A hat
I
box.
don't think the
Is she bigger than a bread box?
Probably not. But I mean, you do need to sneak her in because you don't your bosses don't know what level of training this thing has had or how
Good point.
rabid it is.
Obviously off the leash.
Yeah, you just don't want to walk in like, oh, here I am with a date.
I stayed at a friend's room to give them privacy. The next day, she was still in my room and walking around in her underwear and bra. I didn't mind, and after a bit, she took off. My roommate said she was a fucking gamer and was down for everything. She knew her way around a set of cock and balls. The next month or so, she was around
Wouldn't it
banging
be
my...
a set of balls and cock?
I don't know. Set of cock and balls.
Because there's not a set of cock,
Yeah.
Whatever.
Next month or so, she was around a lot, banging my roommate, was always half or fully naked. She did not give a fuck. She was really fun to hang with. Unfortunately, I started to get jealous of my buddy because I wanted a piece of this little short stack.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
But that's something I would never do to a brother. So I just jerked off thinking about her sometimes.
Doing his little move at the tip of his dick.
Yeah.
Probably. Why wouldn't he ask him? I would feel comfortable asking you if you brought some
Get a piece of the little
partial
short stack.
human short stack into the mix, and I'd feel comfortable going, hey man, look, I know you got this thing going. Do you mind if I take that for a spin around the block really quick? Just for the story?
Is it reasonable to think that there was enough to go around?
Yeah.
We did not. We did a little pump overseas for 6 months. I never saw her again. We looked for her at the beach, but she must have moved away or found a steady man. Bottom line is that there are some hot fidgets running wild out there, and if you catch one, have sex with it, because I hear it's really great. Be well, Wolfie.
What would you do? What would your move be? Would you? I mean, obviously spin. You know, you do the whole spinner thing.
God,
it's
I don't
cliche,
but
but
shit, it's gross.
Really?
Yeah, it's gross.
Not
Banging a midget's gross.
Would you do the wheelbarrow where you grab those stumpy little legs, pop it in, and then wheelbarrow her around the room? It's not gross.
It's too childlike. There's just something like ugh. Save the rest for Monday, Mike.
You're a little girl sometimes. You know that. Isis would. You know what? I've got a couple stories left. You guys mind if we pop into extra content?
Not at all, Mike.
Members area, perhaps?
I'd be delighted.
I have a Star Wars story for
Sweet.
you.
Han Solo, no doubt.
Nope, not Han Solo.
Oh, okay.
And a couple other things, too. So if you're a member, we'll see you over there. If not, have a great weekend, championship football weekend. And we'll be back next week. We'll do it again then. We'll see you then.
You've been listening to the Detroit Cast with your hosts, Mike and Jay. From all of us at Radio for One Studios, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you, Detroit.